Up for first piece of news this evening. It's going to be one of those days because I think it's frozen over somewhere. How to say this? I think Vince McMahon is now starting to listen to people.
Oh my God, he's become self-aware. Does not compute. Does not compute.
I think my brain just exploded.
I think I lost brain cells.
It says the critical response to WWE Backlash this past Sunday was amongst the most resoundingly negative towards any wrestling pay-per-view event of the year, with fans expressing their disappointment in both the in-ring wrestling and the overall booking of the pay-per-view. We also noticed that many fans were spotted leaving the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey during the main event match between Samoa Joe and Roman Reigns. And the fleeing of fans reportedly did not go unnoticed by Vince McMahon. According to Slice Wrestling, the fans' response to WWE Backlash was said to be an eye-opener for Vince McMahon on the current state of the WWE product, and you could read more below. So, people constantly booing Roman, people slandering pay-per-view performances and Raw ratings left, right, and center wasn't a big indicator already. The fact that people now had to start walking out of the actual pay-per-view, that's the one that hit the nail on the head. I have nothing. Here's the thing. Vince McMahon, circa 1999, 2000, would have had a clue. Vince McMahon, circa 1985 even, he would have had a clue. Vince McMahon, 2005, yeah, you could argue. Vince McMahon today, to quote a meme that Oni did for WrestleMania 31 for 2015, I'm not loopy, I'm not loopy. Yes, your son-in-law begs to differ. Because to quote Oni's little one-man play production from Survivor Series 2017, oh my gosh, when are you gonna retire? Well, see, yeah, the thing is, Finn Balor's never going to get it. Oh, gosh, when are you going to retire? Because, as Raiden said, for the WrestleMania preview for this year, with NXT, Triple H gets it. His character is... mileage may vary, but the businessman, the student and master of the game, he understands it. He's very forward-thinking. He knows how to take this product forward. I mean, why is it that each year, without fail, even if WrestleMania is a good one, and 31, 33 were reasonably good WrestleManias, 31 I'm biased towards because it was just the best one in years, and also Orton with that RKO, the way he sprung it out of nowhere on Seth Rollins. I'm like, okay, that's the most random one you've ever done, but it's like, hey, that's good. Look at NXT TakeOver the day before, floors it. Absolutely, humbles the WrestleMania pay-per-view because there's a screen caption between Nakamura and Sami Zayn says, NXT TakeOver says, outdo this, developmentally yours, NXT. Now, I've not watched the TakeOver event from 2015, but from what I understand, even that Mania couldn't compete with that.
Oh, I can definitely attest to that. It was really good.
32 is like,
fuck that Mania.
Let's not kid ourselves. Even if that pay-per-view had been good, it would not have competed with NXT that weekend. 33 it was an okay pay-per-view, but this year, people know my thoughts about this year's Mania. If it hadn't been for Lesnar Reigns, it would have been a solid 10 because that match stunk. That match stunk the joint out. But Raiden, I'm going to start with you. Your 2 cents on the fact that it was Backlash that's getting Wacky Macky to finally take stock of what's going on. I mean, is it too little too late, or is there a chance he could, in air quotes, turn this around?
First thing. Really, Vince? Really? That was the breaking point for you to say, oh wow, I've been doing it all wrong. Let me change that. Yeah. I'm sorry, but I don't believe this for a second. Maybe it's because like, oh no, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? My golden boy has failed 2 to 3 times. What am I gonna do?
Whoa, 2 to 3 times?
Dude!
I was gonna say it's gotta be more than that.
That math's a little off there, buddy.
You're right.
Just a bit.
Right. Yeah, you're right. 1,000 times. How about that?
That works.
Okay, 1,000 times. But yeah, like I don't know if I believe this for a complete second, because we all know how stubborn that old man is. Because
no comment.
Yeah, I mean, pushes his own guys that are just bulky and everything, but when it comes to the small guys, well, they usually, and I can't believe I'm saying this, no chance in hell they got for what they're worth, especially what they've done in the indies. And it's like, I'm just gonna say, yeah, you're gonna have to prove it to me with the results for this year. Because, like always, when it comes to SKL or Raw Down Redown, we definitely gonna call you out on that. So, yeah. So my whole thing is, as long as I have wrestling outside of WWE that I care about, I'm like, okay, if I see progress like we saw like way back in mid 2011 during the Summer of Park, which was sadly got canned. We just hope. I think we just want to see more of that change. So yeah, that's my thing. Don't believe it for a second, but I'll keep my eye on it.
When?
I honestly have my doubts. I'm not gonna lie. The dude pretty much had pointed out to him what the problems were for years on a big, fat, proverbial billboard, and it still didn't get through. So I'm willing to give a chance, but at the same time, I'm also going to remain skeptical. And that's all I got to say.
One of the things that a lot of people have been saying on Twitter in particular is, why don't you just pull the trigger and turn Roman heel? Because he might actually get over. Because he has... When he was doing heel promos in NXT before he joined up with the Shield, he was actually good. He actually slowly got over with that crowd, but... And it's like I've said before, I don't have any issue with the athlete or the real life person. I just think the character is so poorly. But when you have people like Chris Jericho, Jim Ross, and Stone Cold Steve Austin saying this guy is never going to get over as a babyface unless you rework his character, Steve Austin, in all honesty, he knows more than enough to know what works and what doesn't work. I mean, he's been saying for years, there's nothing wrong with the PG flavor, but stop it with these candy cutter scripted promos. Let them speak from the gut, like he did with his King of the Ring winning speech, and when CM Punk had his 316 moment 7 years ago next month. Punk was basically week after week after week, and yeah, it was lampshade humor, it was self-referential, but people were like, hang on, he's saying what we're all thinking. Why aren't they biting into this? And you know, Vince seems to think he's ahead of the curve. Like, yeah, you were 20 years ago when Ted Turner made you, forcibly made you roll your sleeves up. But
yeah,
billionaire Ted ain't in the wrestling business no more. And it's as Steve the Vince Wilton said at the preview panel for Mania, they've gotten so big, they just don't feel the need to try anymore. And I think that is where you are going to see them start actually competently looking at what is not working with their business model, quote unquote, and actually start addressing what does work, use more of that, and decrease the stuff that doesn't really work. Because you start to use more of your potential and start working at your best when you're under threat. WWE, for the longest amount of time, because they're the only gig in town, I know there's ROH, I know there's Impact Wrestling, I know there's various other indie promotions, but they're not on WWE's level. WWE has not had competition since WCW. And WCW hasn't been around for 17 years. An interesting thing, even Shane has been saying all of these ideas to Vince for years. He would actually say, let's run ECW and WCW as separate businesses alongside. Here's the thing. When UFC was still relatively small, Shane advised Vince to buy it because this would be a viable business. Vince scoffed at it, says, oh, they'll never get popular. Who's laughing now?
Sipping that tea.
See, here's the thing. And I've said this so many times now that I could say this in my sleep. Age has got nothing to do with whether you're past it or not. Vince is simply past it because I think he's just run out of steam. And I think this was long before, the age he's currently at now. I mean, if you look at Stan Lee, this is a man who's, 95 now, and he's still interacting and creating new innovations for Marvel and actually trying to help them. And he's, 22 years Vince's senior. So somebody says, oh, you're just saying it because he's 73. I just pointed out somebody that's 22 years more distinguished than Vince. Consider that refuted. Age has got nothing to do with it. Look at Ridley Scott, a man who's still producing, competent movies even into his 70s. Same thing with James Cameron, because he's supposedly doing the Avatar sequels. Jim, I got a lot of love for you. I love what you did with the first Terminator and Terminator 2. I love what you did with Titanic. I'm a huge fan of the first Avatar, but you've been hyping up those sequels for what, nearly 10 years? Like, where are they? Where are the sequels?
I've got my issues with Cameron right now because considering the fact that he thinks that Marvel's gonna run out of steam with their films, it's like, watch when they beat your Avatar money, dude. Because they're this close. They're that freaking close with Infinity War. That close.
Mm.
So Fuck you, James Cameron.
Oh, here's another thing, and this is something I've talked about in the Dynamic Night forum on Facebook before I left, and Random changed it to, quote, Random's Island. Real subtle. You couldn't have waited until at least maybe like 2 to 3 weeks after I left to rename it, but okay, I'm not on there. I shouldn't really care that much, but subtlety has obviously evaded him once more. Cameron is going to direct the next Terminator movie when the rights revert back to him, because there's no other studio, because obviously Orion Pictures are no more. And he has said that the next Terminator movie is a direct sequel to Terminator 2. And at that point, I'm thinking, hold up.
How?
I'm getting to this. How can you do a sequel to a movie whereby all the loose ends were tied up, the original chip and the chip from the second T-800 was thrown into the melting pot, thus ensuring that Skynet and the company that made it would never become a thing, so therefore we'd never have the Terminators trying to eradicate mankind and never have to send someone back in time to protect John Connor, thus ensuring that any convoluted timelines would never happen. I'm like, my head just exploded. It's like, Sean Retro, all I'm going to say with Terminator 3 is simply this. The only saving grace of that movie was Arnold.
Yeah.
That is it. And the less we say about Terminator 4, the better. Ugh. I mean, here... the timelines and alternate universes are just confusing now. When were they not? I mean...
no.
I saw what they were trying to...
That way.
I saw what they were trying to do with Genesis, where it was trying to retcon the original movie and actually, try and erase things before the events of the first movie, which I thought, okay, that's actually quite clever. But then what happens? They jump to 2017 and they're just reenacting the events of Terminator 2. I'm like, oh, God, we're doing this again.
Mm-hmm.
Arnold was fine in that. Jai Courtney as Kyle Reese. No.
No. For me, the only saving grace of that movie was Matt Smith as Skynet, essentially.
That?
Like, yeah, fine, the doctor playing a freaking robot. I will take that. But other than that...
And also, I'm really terrible with names. What was the last name of the actress playing Sarah Connor? Emilia
Clarke. Emilia Clarke.
She was okay as Sarah Connor, but I'm going to be the one to say this, be that guy and say this. You can't lace up Linda Hamilton's boots as Sarah Connor. Sorry.
Yeah, no.
Sean, all I'm going to say for Terminator 4 is...
Yeah, I saw that in the theaters. That I was like, what was that?
And also,
no.
Let's be clear on something. All throughout that movie, whenever you hear Christian Bale deliver his lines, it's like he's trying to do it in his milder Batman voice. It's like, ugh. It's like, dude, just put the cowl. Just put the cowl on. And as for Genesis, just watch it for the first act of the movie. Beyond that, no.
Yeah, no, no thanks.
No.
Especially in the trailer when they reveal that John Connor became a Terminator. I'm like, you don't reveal that in the trailer, you idiots! Don't show your hand!
I mean, it's an interesting spin on making the savior of mankind from that franchise and getting him to essentially do a heel turn. I thought, okay, that's an interesting to do that, but as Lydia just said, it's putting the cart before the horse. You
exactly.
You don't do that. And the only way I saw Genesis was last November. Channel 4 in the UK were having it as a premiere on, I think it was a Friday evening. I'm like, I'm going to TiVo this and I'm going to watch this Saturday afternoon. I'm like, okay. It's like, I want to see how stupid this is. So I technically watched Terminator Genesis for free, and just as well as I did, because if I'd gone to the Flex to see it, I'd be like, yeah, I'm going off to the tickets. Why is that? To get my money back. I ain't paying full price for this. We'll get back to the original point of the topic, which was Wacky Loopy Mackey now finally taking note, because we never got Lids' perspective on this. Lids, I already know where you're going to go with this, but via the same token, we all need to hear it.
Go for it.
Okay. All right. So, Vince, you know the definition of insanity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Yeah, I think the men in white coats are waiting for you, Vince, because you finally realized that the Roman experiment ain't freaking working. Which took you 5 years? Took you that long to figure it out that it ain't working. When everybody around you has told you, Vince, I don't think we should do this. We should do this. But no, you had to dig in your heels like a madman and say, no, they're going to love it. They're going to love it. They're going to love Roman. They're going to freaking love him like John Cena. Oh, really? You mean how we loved it 4 years ago? Really? No, just no. You need to be out of the company right now. Retire. You can go now. Your ideas are done. If you're going to keep doing this, if you're just realizing that you have a problem, your son has told you this is bad. Your quote unquote real son has told you this is bad. But no, you have to keep going until you realize that you've made a goddamn mistake. Does that mean anything to you? Are you that much of a fucking idiot? No, I'm sorry. I have respect for you in your early days. You revolutionized this business. I get that. But it's time for you to go out to pasture and go away now. You can go now. We don't need you anymore, man. We're good.
I mean, this is a guy this is also the same guy who said Cesaro would never get over. Motherfucker, what?
boy, please. Trust.
I still have my issues with that. Yeah. I have my issues with how he's treated certain individuals. Finn Balor, for one. Ooh, no. Finn Balor will never be over. Really? No. You're an idiot. You need to go now. Bye. Exits that way. Those are my thoughts.
I mean, this is also the same person that Steven, what are you talking about? It's like, Vid, you're getting senile. Vid's go. I was like, what do you mean you're getting senile? That ship has long sailed.
That can't happen. That's been happening, dude.
I mean, he goes and says on the Stone Cold podcast, Cesaro's not shown his charisma. Pardon me? Since 2012, this guy has had charisma and then some. This is a guy, when he first came in as a heel, does his promos in 5 different languages before then getting on to the point of it. And then, again, this is also a person that says he doesn't like the internet. It's like, well, if you don't like the internet, I have to ask this question. Why do you have a Twitter? And also, if you actually listen to the internet, I mean, I don't know, you might get some ideas of how to do things better. I mean, I've over the years I've said, what Dan's saying, why not? Vince was senile enough to approve those crossovers. Why not approve Tom and Jerry meet the WWE? Let's not give him ideas.
Oh my God, no!
Please no.
I mean,
let that franchise die, please.
I mean,
oh please, yes.
I mean, I said, I think it was during season fucking 7 of how to do better ideas instead of like giving John Cena another title shot or giving Triple H a 40-minute provo. Fuck that noise. Here's an idea. You have the respective Intercontinental and United States champions having high-profile matches, and then at Survivor Series, you don't get a title unification match, but you get a match where you have a like a D'Lo Brown, Jeff Jarrett situation from SummerSlam '99, where there's 2 titles on the line. It's just title for title. So have them, eventually face each other, and they basically become the Interstates champion or the United Continental champion, and it will get the people, what they want. But he's just like, no, people want to see Roman. No, they don't. People want to see Cena. No, we don't.
No, we don't.
You want to?
Nope.
You want to see Hogan? 20 years ago. 20 years ago. I mean, here's the thing, and this is like a separate issue. In early 2014, when Hogan first came back to the company, he toyed with the idea of one more run as champion, and he was like in his early 60s at that point. I'm like, years before that, maybe, but at that point, it's like, Hogan, no. I mean,
yeah.
I mean,
it could have worked during the whole Mr. America thing if he hadn't just like up and quit the company altogether. It might have worked back then, but now, no.
This is one of the few times I will ever agree with Hogan. He didn't want to do the Mr. America idea because that was Vince's, because Hogan wanted to be Hogan. Make of that what you will, but at least that would have made sense. But the whole Mr. America idea, that would have worked better for, say, someone that could mold that in their own image. I mean, to some degree, that would have worked better with Angle to a point. But, Kaiju will be joining us very, very shortly.
Awesome.
Excellent. Okay, cool.
But like I say, you try to feed Vince McMahon good ideas, but he's like, no. Here's another example. When they were doing the cover superstar for WWE 13, THQ wanted CM Punk, but they go to THQ, no, you want Sheamus. No, we want CM Punk. No, you want Sheamus. Like, we want Punk. But eventually, that was one of the few times he actually caved in.
I actually own that one, so.
Same here. WWE versus Power. Dan, please. Let's.
Oh dear God, no. Keep that shit away from a thing I love.
Please.
I mean, I don't know if having Austin as the cover superstar for 2016 was his idea, but if it was, and that's one of the few better ideas he's had. I mean, other people argued you could have added in, someone else that was current at the time, but at that time, it was getting close to Austin's 20th anniversary of winning King of the Ring, and I think that was more befitting. And Stone Cold has very rarely been a cover superstar for any WWE game, so it's like, you know what? It kind of makes sense to put him on there. And let's be clear. There are guys like, Cesaro, Finn Balor, Rollins, as we mentioned, that get pops. whenever Austin returns to Monday Night Raw, can they compete with his pops? No.
Fortunately.
Not really.
I mean, Rock, as popular as he is, his pops were not as big as Austin's, because Austin represented the blue-collar working people. He spoke, for people. Because there are people that hate 9 to 5. They hate being told what to do. Can't do this, can't do that, can't drink on the job. And he's just like, no, you want screw this. I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to do it my way. And if you get in my way, I'll flip you off and drop you on that stack of dimes you call a neck. Mind you, if people actually went and do that in the workplace for real, oh, good Lord, the unemployment line. But I don't know. I mean, it wouldn't surprise, because I was actually watching Random's Let's Watch Raw for Raw 1000 when he had to watch the segments of Mae Young's hand finally grown up.
Ugh.
I was in the room when he was recording this at the time. I heard him go up the stairs and screaming.
I would not blame him.
Damn.
Yeah. Hey, Kaiju!
He is Noir, Kaiju Noir, licensed to review.
Welcome back, Kaiju.
What's up, everybody?
Not much. Vince McMahon's off his rocker again.